Hey, Huckster here. You know, it seems to be pretty much a pattern for YouTube Christians to preach hell, threaten people with what they deserve, and then they say what they deserve is to burn. And they use parables, like the parables of the wheat and the tares, which says, let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of the harvest I will say to the reaper, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them. And they'll say, well, right there's hell. The burning is hell. And that they gather the wheat into the barn, and that's heaven. Well, what about when Jesus is speaking of the lilies of the fields? It says, and why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Wherefore, if God so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, there's that same fire. The lilies of the field are cast into the oven. And it goes on to say, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? But people want to, what I'm trying to make is, people want to take a parable that says the word burn in it for the tares and say there's proof of hell. But yet the lilies of the field are burnt. What are they guilty of? I mean, it's a poor excuse to believe in a place called hell. Abraham didn't believe in hell. He believed that people got their just rewards in this life, whether it be good or bad. You would live on if you followed the commandments of God. And when you went against the commandments of God, things went wrong for you in this life. If I go out to bars and go out with a lot of women and fornicate and steal and rob and kill, and I'm going to end up in a bad situation in this life. And you can say, well, people do those things and get away with it. Show me who does that and gets away with it. Are you hiding a criminal? Because criminals do not get away with it. It may take a while. And usually when it comes down on them, they're a mess. They're suffering already the torments of their wrongdoings in this life. Now, the Jews don't teach of hell. The Old Testament doesn't teach of hell. And I would assure you that the New Testament doesn't teach of hell. You have to strain it out of it and twist it through man's traditional conceptions of this torture chamber in order to believe in it. So you can say all day that, hey, our emphasis is not on hell, it's on Jesus. But as long as you teach this burning, this hell, this paganistic teaching, you can't just cover it up by saying the name Jesus, saying he's the one I follow, he's the one I believe in. You have to understand what you're teaching as a whole. You know, there's a story of the farmer who purchased a farm when he first got married. He loved his wife. He was faithful and loyal to his wife. They had kids. He worked hard every day on the farm just to get by. His wife sewed and wove things and worked, fed them and cooked. And they had children. They raised these children and educated them. All his life, this farmer worked and toiled on his farm. He was not an evil man. And then when he was on his deathbed, the priest or the preacher asked him, was he prepared to die? Had he accepted Christ? Otherwise, his fate was what Christians tell you today is what we deserve. It's not death. What they're talking about is a torment for eternity and a hell they believe in. And you know, most of these Christians that preach this, a lot of preachers that are there at your deathbed, when you have been faithful and loyal and providing for your family and did the things that were Christ-like, when they, as preachers, we've seen so many of them, and YouTube is full of them that will tell you their past, and their past is pretty sordid, but yet they ask for forgiveness, and because you didn't, you'll be tortured for eternity, and they're going to live in rewards and bliss and all. You know, say if somebody siphoned your gas out of your car and you had to go 10 miles to the pharmacy to pick up your prescriptions in a cold rain, and you knew you had gas in your car, and but since somebody siphoned it out, you ran out of gas, and you're stuck on the road in the cold rain, and you have underlying health problems, and you end up trying to go get gas, and you get wet, and you get sick, and you suffer, and you could possibly even die. But that guy that siphoned your gas just says, "Dear Jesus, forgive me." And then he says, "My slate's wiped clean. I'm forgiven all my sins." He didn't ask forgiveness for what you did to that man. All you think you did is siphon his gas, when you actually caused him great distress and sickness and possibly even death. You didn't ask forgiveness for that. Christians are so eager to say, "Well, I've been forgiven. I've asked forgiveness. I've been forgiven." And Christ can forgive you. But you say, "I'm forgiven by Christ," but you will burn in hell. You're not even showing the least bit of compassion or forgiveness for these people that you're saying are getting what they deserve. It's words out of your own mouth. What they deserve. Let me remind you, the people you're sending to this hell are not guilty of